Hey guys, welcome back to Sports with Mono and Mono. Hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas. Today is December 27th, 2025, and I'm here with Elijah Weintraub, my co-host. Eli, how was your Christmas?
It was a great Christmas, and I can't believe that it's the finale of 2025, our finale show of 2025. We're going to
Yes.
recap a couple things later on in our show. We have a great sports lineup to talk about today. We have
Yep.
snow to clean outside to do, but it's okay. We have a great show for you today. We start off with the monologue sponsored by Coriano Trucking of Summer Hill, New York.
Okay. So we touched on this a few weeks ago, and it's I know it's a little bit early for baseball, but I just been watching what's been happening to the New York Mets, right? They let Pete Alonso go. They let Edwin Diaz go. They traded Jeff McNeil, and now they traded one of the longtime Mets, Brandon Nimmo. And these are four guys. So before the season started last year, everybody said, "Look, this is the perfect lineup. The Mets have a great lineup. They should easily make the playoffs," and they didn't. So what did they decide to do? They've blown it all up, and they lost four of their core players. And they didn't really do a lot. They signed Jorge Polanco to play first base, who, by the way, has played one game at first base.
Yeah.
Um, you know, but trading Nimmo and McNeil was two big things. So I don't know if you're a Met fan, you got to be wondering, what are we going to do? Who are we going to fill those voids with? But the big piece was letting Pete Alonso go. So if you're a Met fan, give us your thoughts and comments on where you guys are going and what's going to be David Stern's, plans to replace those core players. And listen, being a Yankee fan, hey, I'm okay with it because I love to see the Mets struggle because everybody keeps putting them up there as one of the teams. They're going to the World Series and they just don't. And I think this is going to be a setback year for the Mets because they lost some very key players on their team with no real replacements to fill those voids. So um, we'll see how that pans out, Eli. We're probably 6 weeks away from pitchers and catchers reporting. So
Yeah, it's pretty crazy that it's already here. Brandon says, "Good morning, good morning, Brandon, everyone, and good morning, Brandon. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, you can always call in using the QR code or the links in the chat or on Facebook, and of course, you can leave us a comment if you like in the chats on the side and YouTube, wherever you're watching. But yeah, it's an interesting time for this New York Mets team. There needs to be a lot of rebuilding going on, and honestly, I don't know who the answer is. Who is going to be this next Pete Alonso? Who is going to be the next Diaz? We don't know. I mean, it's gonna be hard to tell. And right now, as Brandon says, no Mets have no plan, and you're absolutely right. They have no plan. I
yep.
don't know what the plan is because I don't know another guy that's available right now that could say, yeah, you know what, the Mets are after him, or
No, and that's
what's
exactly
the
my point
situation?
here. I don't think the Mets have a plan. And listen, the Yankees have some work to do too. But I
Of
think the
course,
key The key for the Yankees is to re-sign Cody Bellinger, and
right.
Aaron Judge wants that to happen. And I think that's really going to be the key. If the Yankees want to stay, as contenders, that is a key component for them, or they're just going to end up like the Mets.
Absolutely. Uh,
So,
William Hathaway, good morning to you. Says good morning, everyone. Good morning. How are you doing
good
today?
morning, William. Hope you had a great Christmas as well. And yeah, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about
Yeah,
today.
we'll talk more about
Eli,
baseball in a little bit.
yeah,
So let's
a
go to
couple of little
college
notes.
football.
Yep.
So let's take a look at the college football bracket. Let's pull it up here. And we had some exciting games this past week. Oregon moves on to take on Texas Tech in the next round. Alabama wins. They take on Indiana the next round. Ole Miss wins. They take on Georgia. And now Miami wins. They take on Ohio State. Some of the games last week weren't exactly amazing, especially the TNT games. But the ESPN ones weren't as bad as people thought. And Alabama was, of course, the big upset. I think as of the week.
Well, let me first say full disclosure here. I picked all four of those games, including Alabama,
That is
and they were
correct.
down. They were down 17 points,
You got it.
and they rallied back, and they showed me something here. So um, they were good football games, and now we're down to the bracket up there, and then let's touch on each one of them and let's make our picks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'll start off with New Year's Eve and the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. It's at 7:30 on ESPN. That's on New Year's Eve, by the way. It's Miami and Ohio State. A very interesting matchup. It's pretty good. I'm going to go with Ohio State in this one.
I am too, Eli. I really do think that they're solid. I mean, they did, lose to Indiana, and I think obviously Indiana is the team to beat. But I think Miami just got away with one. They barely survived that week last week to move on. But I do like Ohio State in that game.
We go now to New Year's Day in Capital One Orange Bowl at 12 o'clock on ESPN. It's Oregon and Texas Tech. I don't know about this one. It's a very interesting one. I'm going to go with Oregon. I think, they surprised us last week. They had a big win versus JMU. I think that they're going to go and take down Texas Tech, who had a bye this week. They're the number 4 seed. I think Oregon gets the win here.
Well, this is going to be kind of my upset pick of the week.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of Dan Lanning's at Oregon, and they've done a lot. But I think Texas Tech is one of the surprise teams. And, this kid Rodriguez, he wins the Butkus Award. So he is a stud on defense. He'll be a number 1 pick. I'm going to go with Texas Tech to pull the upset.
Okay. So we differ on that one, and we go to a fantastic and an awesome New Year's Day Rose Bowl at 4 o'clock on ESPN. It's Alabama and Indiana. I'm going with Curt Cignetti and Indiana. I cannot pick against them. They're the favorites right now, and this is their year. I think this is their year to get the trophy. Give me Indiana. William is also going with Indiana over Alabama.
Yeah, I have to agree with you guys. I mean, I'm kind of, torn between this because Alabama really impressed me with that comeback win last week, and they were running the football better than they had all year. So that was a key for them. But I do think Indiana is the one to beat, and I think this will pan out that way. I look for them to win this week and move on to the semifinals.
William is saying go Oregon, Georgia, and Miami. They will also win alongside Indiana. Brandon says Alabama will have their 4th loss of the season. Go IU.
Mm-hmm.
All righty. And we go now to our final game on New Year's Day, the All-State Sugar Bowl at 8 o'clock on ESPN. It's Ole Miss and Georgia, a very good game. It is the battle of the 6th seed and the 3 seed, and I'm going with everybody else here. I am going to go with Georgia to get the victory here.
Yeah, that seems like a pretty safe pick for you and me, Eli. But the quarterback, this kid Chambliss for Ole Miss, has played really, really well this season too. So, but they don't have Lane Kiffin. But yeah, I'm going to take Georgia as well. I believe in Kirby Smart, and I think we're going to get to and have just a great matchup, the Final Four. And to Brendan's point, yes, I know a lot of people are down on Alabama that this could possibly be their 4th loss of the season, but they really impressed me against Oklahoma.
They did.
But I don't think I think that runs out against Indiana. Heisman Trophy winner, stud defense.
Yeah.
They're packed all around.
Yeah. Well, we have a great college football ahead of us that's happening on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Before we go on to talk about today's bowl games and the new Michigan signing, let's go to Andrew. He has a comment here. He says, "Good morning, guys. Mets fan here. I'll be watching the PGA Tour for the next 8 months."
Well, this is exactly to my point. I mean, the Mets, maybe they could surprise. Maybe they do have a game plan. But right now, Andrew, I know you're a diehard Mets fan, but you got to be scratching your head and saying, what's going on here?
Absolutely.
I don't know. Well,
we don't know.
Like I said, it's about 6 weeks till pitches and catches. So we got time. We got football to talk about. Yep.
Yeah, and of course, remember, you can always comment and call us in for anybody who is watching. We love to hear your thoughts, whether it's about college football or the NFL in just a little bit. But let's go to today's bowl games, and then we'll talk about the signing. A lot of great bowl games today. The Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl here in Yankee Stadium is, of course, a classic. Penn State and Clemson's there. And to me, this is the funniest one. The Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl, Miami and Fresno State. And you also got the Pop-Tart Bowl, which I think is probably going to be one of the better games on the menu today with Georgia Tech and BYU over in Orlando. Very good game there to see who gets the Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, I was actually checking out the games and the lineup, and yes, that one to me was the best game of
the day.
all the games. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
And Pop-Tarts, of course. I mean, the Pop-Tart Bowl. I mean, that's the toaster trophy. I mean, who doesn't want the toaster trophy?
Yeah, but you're a Pop-Tart guy now, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I would like the toaster trophy to put my Pop-Tarts inside the toaster to,
Right,
that's pretty cool. I don't think. I don't know.
Didn't your partner take care of you on the Pop-Tart?
Yes, he did. I want to thank the partner as well. William says Penn State over Clemson in the Pinstripe Bowl. That was his comment there.
No, I'm going to take Clemson in that one, William. Sorry to disagree with you, my friend.
All right. Yeah, but a lot of great games.
Hasn't impressed me at all.
Most of the games are on ABC and ESPN except the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl. That's on the CW network. That's exciting day for bowl games. But let's go to the signing now. Kyle Whittingham, coach of Utah, officially leaves to sign a 5-year deal to become Michigan's next head coach. Do you like the move there, Jim?
I actually do. He was at Utah for 21 years and established, well-established quality program he ran, and that's what Michigan needs. They need to gut that whole staff that was all involved with this, Sharon Moore and the whole Harbaugh thing. This should be a clean start for Michigan. And, he's an established recruiter. That's going to be an issue, but they got to work their way back into the upper echelon of college football. But I think it's a good pick.
All right.
And Eli, I got one other. I got a college football note for you.
Okay.
And first and foremost, New Year's Day when I was growing up, it was awesome. There was like 10 bowl games, and they started at like 11 o'clock in the morning with the Fiesta Bowl and whatnot. So the landscape has changed a little bit, but it's not the traditional
bowl games
New Year's Day schedule that me and my little brother used to watch from sun up to sundown.
Yeah.
It was great, But this came through that Notre Dame and USC, which was always a tradition to watch that with my little brother. They can't reach an agreement, so it looks like that series is going to end up not happening anymore. And I've been watching USC, Notre Dame football.
Notre Dame don't want to play tough competition.
Been watching it. Yeah, it's just kind of sad. But the whole thing with Notre Dame, they did ink a 2-year home and home series with BYU, which BYU is a good team. But I'm a traditionalist, and I'm gonna miss those things, just like the New Year's Day games. Starting with the Fiesta Bowl and the Peach Bowl and all those bowls, and now we got Snoop Dogg bowls. I don't know what's going on.
I mean, I'm not nothing wrong with the Snoop Dogg Bowl, if you ask me, but I mean, the games don't mean as much as they used to. That's the thing.
Well, the whole thing has changed because now it's marketing, right? And
the college football playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Then that all changed too. Brandon says, universities and boosters need to stop with coach in waiting.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. This is, Brendan, been a year like none other with the coaching changes and things like that in college football. I don't recall ever seeing this volume of moving from school to school. But you know what? Maybe it has something to do with the NIL portal and whatnot.
Of course it does. Of course it does. Look at college basketball for a second there. Why is it that the top players are going right away, to the best schools and they're going right to the NBA? Of course, it's all about the money, 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 money. And that's why we will never see, especially college basketball, those little schools be an upset. Maybe you will. Maybe. I'm hoping we do. I want to see an upset happen again. Maybe I think that will happen again. We're not going to see a ton of them like we did in the years past. We'll get a couple, but not like a lot like the years past. Like the St. Peter's, for example, in the tournament.
You know what a question I have is why you could play 1 year of college basketball and turn pro, but in college football, you can't. I don't understand what the rationale behind that is.
Because the NBA is different than the NFL.
Maybe William can add some insight.
NBA is different than the NFL. NBA is different than the NFL, I guess. I don't know. I mean, we know that. Brandon asks an age-old question. Notre Dame independent status. Just partner with the Big Ten and play USC, Michigan, etc. Saying that forever.
Well, that does sound like it. I think it's is always a
Notre Dame doesn't want him.
marquee must watch regardless of who they play. But I agree with you. I think the time is right,
I
and
agree.
maybe next year they make that decision, Brendan, and go to the Big Ten, and then we get those traditional games back on. I think it would be great. Good idea. Yep.
Not just that, to see them play real competition, and then we could say to ourselves when the playoff format comes around, you know what? You know what? They deserve to be inside the playoffs because they played good teams. Whether if they win or not, we can say that. Who do they play again this year? That they got out. That makes sense why they're out. They didn't play anybody good, and they lost those games. If they're in the Big Ten, you could say to yourself, okay, you know what? Maybe let's consider them for a second there.
Yeah, I think it's a
Honestly.
consensus. We all want Notre Dame to be in that Big Ten conference like they are, and they're in conference play in every other sport except football. It's
Of course.
hard to understand. I agree, man.
Well, let's go now to the National Football League and off of college football. And the playoffs are getting tighter here. We'll take a look at the playoff standings right now for the AFC and the
Yeah.
NFC.
Yep.
For the NFC, it's pretty much all locked in. With the Lions lost on Christmas Day, the Packers have secured a spot. But the only spot that remains is Panthers and the Buccaneers, and it's really going to come down to these next two games. For the Panthers, if they were to somehow beat the Seattle Seahawks this weekend, and the Buccaneers were to get a loss, then the Panthers have secured a playoff spot. If not, it's going to come down to Week 18 between the Buccaneers and the Panthers. You also have the Steelers, who will likely secure a spot and be in, as long as if they can win this weekend. We have the
Mhm.
Ravens on the bubble. And the Colts are likely going to be out because the Texans have a 10-5 record. Jaguars at 11-4. They're both going to secure the spot more than likely there. So it's a tight race in the AFC and the NFC. Before we get to your thoughts, Jim, we have Brandon calling in. I want to get to his thoughts first. So let's go ahead and bring in Brandon. Brandon, good morning. Can you hear us?
Good morning, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to all the viewers and to the hosts here.
Merry
You
I
Christmas.
too,
just
Brent.
wanted to I just wanted to piggyback off the Notre Dame point. You're kind of hitting my sweet spot here with college football and
How did I
really
know that's what you were going to talk about? How did I know?
listen. Listen, Brian Kelly, when he was the Notre Dame head coach, just to make sure that we're all on the same page, made sure that Notre Dame signed a commitment with the ACC. All right. And the reason for that was that they could establish recruiting ground in Florida, play Florida State, Miami, the Clemsons of the world, and then the North Carolina schools. Um, I think Eli, just to piggyback off of what Eli said, I think Notre Dame kind of deserves this karma right now by playing the ACC schools and not really being a member of a conference. I used to support Notre Dame independent status, but now that the landscape has changed, I think it's time that Notre Dame gets with the program, either joins the Big Ten or has a similar agreement with the way that they have with the ACC, where they're going to play the Purdue's of the world, the Michigans, the USC's, the traditional rivalries that Notre Dame used to have. Does anybody want to watch Notre Dame play Wake Forest again? Is it doing anything for Notre Dame?
No.
And I think that at the height of this program building, like Marcus Freeman, he's done an incredible job. Um, he is also the current favorite to be the New York Giants' next head coach, and I wanted to
Won't
get your
happen. Will not happen.
well, why?
He will not
Mhm.
leave Notre Dame. He's that's the
It's
Fair.
all
that's the
about the money,
job.
though.
That's the job you want. You want to come back into the pros, Brendan? I can't see
No,
that happening.
no,
Well,
but don't you have to listen to the Giants? You have to listen.
Of course.
They're a top
Listen,
five. I said top five franchise in all of sports in terms of their evaluation, their valuation of financial, establishment. But
right.
you know, playing Wake Forest doesn't do it. It's either
You're
join the
absolutely
Big
right.
Ten and do something and be part of the movement of what college football has done, and they've destroyed it. It's either you get with it or you don't. That's the way I
and I
feel.
I think they will, Brendan, at some point. Maybe after next year they're going to reevaluate the way they were shut out of the playoff based on strength of schedule. I think that will change, and I look forward to it. That would be great to have them in addition in the Big Ten. I think it'd be great.
You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. And if you look at Jim Harbaugh, though, he went to Los Angeles. He left Michigan. You know, it's possible. You
Yeah.
never know. It's possible that we could
I
see
agree with Jim.
it
No,
happen.
I think leaving Notre Dame would be a mistake, but it just makes you kind of scratch your head. And
Yeah.
if the Giants and I'd love to get like kind of segue into like what you think the Giants are going to do. I'm going to hang up and listen, but I agree with you. I don't think it'll be Freeman, but I believe he will be interviewed.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Brendan. I appreciate
Appreciate
it.
it as always.
Happy New Year, buddy.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you, guys. All right. Well,
Yeah. Let's touch on this because the
yeah,
Giant season has been an utter disappointment, and
it has
so
been.
now Dable's out, and look at the coaching carousel over the past few years. But I don't know that John Mara is willing to take a chance on another young guy who may be in over his head. College football is completely different than the NFL. I don't want it to happen, but I could see potentially bringing in a veteran coach like a McCarthy or somebody like that.
Absolutely.
I don't want it to happen. I would like somebody, young with a young vision that could work with Jackson Dart. I really don't know which way they're going to go, Brendan. I
I don't know.
honestly don't. But we'll see.
But I could tell you this right now. As of right now, the New York Giants have the #1 draft pick. And if they were, because the New York Giants somehow win the game tomorrow, which they're not really supposed to win, and mess up their draft positioning at #1 pick,
Yep.
what does this do for the New York Giants? Yes, they don't need a quarterback right now. Great. But you're going to have likely the one or the top 3 pick, regardless. It'll be 1, 2, or 3. What do you do with that pick?
Well, listen,
because you don't need a quarterback. You ain't taking Mendoza.
right.
So what do you
There's
take?
something else at play. So we don't know. The Giants, right now, we know that Joe Shane can't possibly survive this. So we have to bring in a new GM and a new coach. I don't know. And we got to talk about this garbage game this week against two.
Well, but you know why it's a good game? It's actually an interesting game. You know why? Because right now, both these teams have a similar record. And right now, this is a battle to see who gets the #1 draft pick. Because it's going to come down to these two teams of who's going to get the #1 draft pick. If you look at the New York Giants, they're 2-13. So is the Raiders. They're both 2-13. The Giants right now, if they lose this game, they still hang on to the #1 draft pick. So they really need to lose this game rather than win it. But again, they don't need a quarterback. So what also do you need the #1 draft pick for? That's the other question.
Yeah. Well, we're going to see how it pans out because there's a couple weeks left in the season, so that'll change. But looking at this, Eli, I mean, this has been a crazy year in the NFL. Look who's
100%.
not in. Look who's not in the playoffs.
Kansas
Mahomes
City,
and the Chiefs, right? They're not in. The Detroit Lions, who were on the verge of big things with Dan Campbell and things, and then that was a setback year for them this year. So that's going to be missing as well.
And it's a very, very interesting playoff schedule and format that we're looking at here. And you look at for the AFC, for example, no one would have thought that the top teams right now would be the Jaguars, the Patriots, the Broncos, and the Steelers. I don't think nobody could have told you that, when the season started, these were going to be the top 4 teams in the AFC. We would have said Kansas City, Buffalo. Nobody would have thought this would be your top 4 in the AFC right now. Granted, Buffalo's in the playoffs right now, which is great. But back to the Buffalo perspective, whether if they have the #2 seed or the #5 seed or 6 seed, the point is they need to do something this year because what is your biggest obstacle? Because if you look at the Broncos last week, they lost to the Jaguars. The final score was 34-20. So are the Broncos really for real? Are they really the #1 seed? In reality, this is the perfect year for Buffalo to win something. And if they can't win it this year, the Buffalo Bills will never win a championship. And it's just the bottom line.
I couldn't agree more. This is an opportunity that they have that they don't have to go and play Kansas City. And look how
your biggest opponent
has gone on. I mean, 5 weeks into the season, everyone was talking about Daniel Jones and the Colts going to the Super Bowl.
And now they're about to miss it.
And then everything imploded. And to me, I think one of the surprise teams, at least to me, because I've never been a Trevor Lawrence guy, but Jacksonville has been playing quality football lately. And, You know,
But
that could be one of the surprise teams in the AFC.
But I want to
But
know
I
right now, what is the toughest competition in the AFC though, if you think about it? Because if you look at the
well,
Broncos, they lost last week. Maybe you can argue the Jaguars are pretty good, but the Patriots, who was their biggest win of the season?
Patriots.
Maybe the last week with the Ravens. Maybe you can argue that one. But what's it like in the playoffs? What about Buffalo? You know, is the AFC really predictable right now? Are the standings really the standings? Or does this really exemplify these teams?
And I think that's a good point. But you know, to ask who the teams are, I think the best teams in the AFC are the Bills and the Chargers.
Yes.
Those are the two teams I think can move on. But you're right about the Denver Broncos. I just Bo Nix does just enough to win the games, but you can't deny they got a 13-3 record, which
You can't.
but that
Right.
doesn't bode well in the playoffs. And who else is missing? The Ravens, right? So
Well, technically, if the Steelers win, if the Steelers were to win their game this weekend, which I believe they play the Browns, if they were to win, then the Ravens are done because then
yeah,
there's no chance for the Ravens. But if they lose and the Ravens win, there's some hope. The Colts, they're out as long as if the Texans win, which they likely will.
and
So
I'll say one thing about the coaching selection. One of
yes.
the coaches that I would be okay with for the Giants to hire if they didn't go for a young college coach would be John Harbaugh, because
Oh,
his
okay.
relationship with Lamar Jackson is crumbling right before our eyes, and I think we're seeing the real Lamar Jackson. He's had an opportunity to prove himself for the past 5 years, and he hasn't been able to get it done. So they're probably going to fire John Harbaugh. And if he came and became the head coach of the New York Giants, I would be happy with that too.
Brandon says Buffalo will be favored the rest of the way. Go Bills.
Yes,
Um,
I do. You know, I've been a big Buffalo believer all year
yeah.
long.
Well, if Buffalo can't win it this year, they're never going to win it again, and that's just the
And
bottom line.
if they don't, Eli, then you could bet maybe Sean McDermott might be available as well.
Maybe even the quarterback. Maybe.
No,
Maybe
he's
no.
going nowhere. He's not going anywhere.
I don't know. I mean, what has he done? We'll see this year. But let's take a look
Yeah.
at the NFC real quick before we move on. The
Yep.
NFC is also pretty loaded. The Packers secured a spot because of the Lions' loss to the Vikings this weekend. But the Packers also have an injury to worry about. Jordan Love is out for tonight's game due to a concussion. So that is not a good sign for the Packers. Will he be available for the playoffs? We'll have to just wait and see. He probably will. But for tonight, he is out, though. And it's another big game because the Packers, they take on the Ravens, the Ravens are also fighting for a playoff spot at this point. So it's a very interesting game as we look at it tonight. But from the NFC perspective, it's wide open. The NFC West is the biggest competition right now. You have the Rams, the 49ers sitting at 11-4, and Seattle at 12-3. Keep in mind, you also have the Bears sitting at 11-4 in second place, which could easily bump up to first place. It is a wide open NFC and a race that's going to happen all the way to the end. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and the way that the 49ers have quietly just started to win games and so forth, and now they got their quarterback back, and he's been playing, at the top of his game, Brock Purdy. But the Rams, I think, are the class of
Yes.
the NFC. I'm not a believer in Chicago.
Right. And not even Seattle, too. I'll be quite honest with you. I know I'm a Seattle fan, but because who have they beat so far this season? I could say, you know what? Seattle deserves to be in. I can't say that right now. That I could say, you know what? Maybe the Rams last week, but it was by a miracle if you think about it. There were two-point conversions, which that one, it was a controversial one with the backwards pass, and the other one was, of course, Seattle throwing it at the end zone. What a surprise there. But yeah.
But to me, one of the, I'm not a believer in the Chicago Bears. I'm not a believer right now because I watched Green Bay against Denver. Was it 2 weeks ago or last week, whatever it was? Jordan Love, I've always been a fan of his. I think he's a quality quarterback, but he just can't seem to get over that hump. I think they've had a team. And now he's, when you're talking about a concussion, that means he's just one hit away from getting knocked out for the playoffs. And, there goes
that's
their
what you
chance.
want, right? That's not what you want. You don't want that. That's not what you want.
No, I know.
Before we continue our conversation, we have Bill joining us, William Hathaway. Good morning, Bill. How are we
What's
today?
up? What's up, Jim? How you doing today, man?
All right, William. How are you, buddy?
What did you want my opinion on? Because I know you called me out on the show. What did you want my opinion on? What do you know what was the I think it was the discussion about the NFL and the college. What was it about? I missed it. I know I heard it though.
Well, I think we were on the college football
It was college
subject
football, I
at that time. Are you a believer that Alabama was fully added to the college football playoff? But you had to be
Well,
impressed
listen.
with them beating Oklahoma last week.
Well, listen. Eli knows me. I go against the grain sometimes. Like I told you about Indiana. Indiana was going to win the Big Ten. They won the Big Ten. Now, Alabama, Nick Saban ain't there no more, buddy. That's them days are over with. It's
Well, I will
2026
say
coming
that
in. I don't think Alabama. Who's Alabama playing, Eli, this week?
Alabama is playing Indiana.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Indiana. Oh, Indiana over Alabama. But I believe, Jim, Alabama has been a storefront and championships and all that, right? It's got to be a time where, listen, new people, new team move on. We need a new
Well,
blood.
listen, I'll tell you this, William, and it took me a while to become a believer in Indiana and Kurt Cignetti. I didn't know whether this was going to be kind of a flash in the pan, but he is a quality coach. Mendoza is absolutely
Phenomenal
definitely deserved the Heisman Trophy, and I couldn't be more impressed. And I know I have a lot of Hoosier fans, the Tom Pughs and the Derek Krugs, and these guys are Hoosier fanatics. And I have gotten to a point where I believe in them, but I would love to see a rematch with Indiana and Ohio State. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I would love to see it too. I would love to see it. I'll go with Indiana though. I'm going to go with Indiana. But I see the screen right there. I did pick Miami. I did pick Miami to beat I can't see the screen, Eli. What is that?
Yeah. So basically Indiana has Alabama. If they win, they'll take on Oregon and Texas Tech, and Ole Miss Georgia will be Miami, Ohio State in the next round.
We got a lot of good teams, fellas. We got a lot of good teams in this college football playoff. It's kind of exciting because, beforehand we never had a college playoff format. Right. But sitting on a day like New Year's Eve, you're sitting there watching. You're gonna celebrate the New Year, and you're watching all the exciting games. And it's fun for college football. It's also, hey, like an average fan, if an average fan that goes to these games, hey, I saw Alabama and Indiana play. Right now in these type of generations, the cost of NFL games and college games, an average person can't really afford them. But like this college football format, you can sit there on a day before New Year's. You can, celebrate your team. You can watch it. Notre Dame was blindsided out of the playoffs. I think they were blindsided. I thought they should have been in there. Yeah, these are quality, good teams as far as all the teams that are participating in the playoffs. And I think it's going to be a good fight to the finish. But do I think that Ohio State will win? It depends. It depends where they play. It depends the crowd. It depends, if they're playing an inside venue. It plays like I said previously, like when Seton Hall played Villanova. Even though Seton Hall lost the game, they had 8. They were down. They lost by 8, but the crowd was a factor in that game. It could be home and away could play a factor. You know what I mean?
Well,
just put it this way, Jim. Like the game last week against Chicago, I think it was Green Bay. Nobody thought Chicago was going to come back and beat Green Bay. They came back and beat them. And this is a quality.
The old saying is that's why they play the games, my friend. We got to run, but thanks for your opinions on this. I appreciate it.
I'll talk to you soon, guys.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
And
Brandon,
just for the record, I want people to know, that I picked Miami last week and I picked Alabama last week. So
you got it. Brandon says, am I the only one that thinks Miami's defense front seven scares the hell out of freshman quarterback?
Brendan says, am I the only?
Maybe.
No.
All
They
right.
barely beat they barely won last week. So
Let's go to our NFL
see.
picks.
Let's get back.
Let's
go back. Yes.
Yeah. Let's go to
Oh,
the picks
look
and
at
take
that.
a look at that standings chart. And I don't like it because he's ahead of me, 33 to 19 and
Starting
29
to
23.
widen.
Last week, Jim
The
went
cream
4-1.
is starting to rise to the friend.
He went 4-1 last week. I went 3-2. It's okay though, because we have 5 games today, including 2 Saturday, 3 Sunday to pick. Maybe I can get some redemption this week. Only hope. Let's only hope.
Okay.
All right. So
You're running out of time, friend. That's what I'm saying here.
no, I don't know about that. There's plenty of football left. I mean, we have the playoffs. We still have this weekend, next weekend. There's time, Jim. I don't know. There's plenty of time.
All right, Eli, give me your pick. You go first.
All right.
This week.
Let's go ahead and start with the Saturday games. Texans, Chargers, 4:30 on NFL Network. Los Angeles favored by 1.5. But you know what? I'm going to go with the upset of this one. I'm going to take the Houston Texans 26-23 to get the victory to officially clinch a playoff spot. And the Packers-Ravens game, Saturday, 8 o'clock on Peacock tonight. Unfortunately, it's not on cable television. It's on Peacock. I know. I hate it too. I'm going to go with the Packers in this one, despite the injuries, 27-24. I don't think that the Ravens can handle a team like the Packers tonight.
Well, those are some interesting picks, and let's stick with the Saturday games, and I'm gonna take the Chargers. I'm not so sure. I know the Texans have a really good defense, but I think the Chargers are really running on all cylinders right now. Right. I'm gonna take the Chargers in that game. And you know what? You brought it up before that Jordan Love is not playing tonight. The Ravens are on the bubble. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm not 100% confident in it, but I'm going to take Baltimore to beat the Packers on the road and keep their playoff hopes alive.
Wow, we disagree on both Saturday games, and now let's stick to Sunday here. My third game my 3 games for Sunday, our usual picks. I'll start off with the Giants and the Raiders, 4:05 on CBS. Las Vegas is favored by 1.5. But this is a time of year where the Giants love to ruining draft positioning. They love to get Giants fans angry around this time of year. So I'm going to go with the New York Giants in this one, 22-18.
All right.
The Eagles and the Bills, 4:25 on Fox. Buffalo 1.5 favored. Game of the day, of course, as we know. It's on Fox. Tom Brady, Kevin Burkhardt on the call. One of the best games on the menu that day. I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Philadelphia to win this one, 35-32. The Eagles fly in this one. I don't think the Buffalo Bills can get the job done, so I'm going to go with the Eagles.
Interesting.
The last one, Bears 49ers, Sunday Night Football, 8:20 on NBC. San Francisco favored by 3. I agree. I'm going to go with San Francisco on this one, 26-21 to get the victory. So my picks are Texans, Packers, Giants, Eagles, 49ers. Here's Frankie Pisani's comment. He says, Merry Christmas, guys. Agreed, Eli. Willis is a great backup QB. And agreed, Jim. Stroud hasn't been great.
Yep. And thank you, Frankie. Merry Christmas to you, too. So, yeah, this is a wide open week, and I'm going to go through my picks too.
Go for
it. Eli and I have 2 of the same games though. Giants and Raiders. I'm going to take the Giants in this game too. I just don't think that they could tank bad enough. I think the Raiders are just terrible. These are 2 awful football teams right now. So you got to pick the lesser of one evil. I'm going to take the Giants. And I'm not dismissing Frankie Willis as a backup quarterback, but
absolutely,
it's a big stage for him, All right, Eli. So I'm taking the Giants. Second common game, we have Philadelphia and Buffalo. And that's interesting because a lot of people, we've been talking all morning, and we never once mentioned this defending Super Bowl champs. And
wow, it's crazy.
We know that they got, they're coming off a Super Bowl victory. They're still the lineup is almost the same. But I'm a believer in the Buffalo Bills, and I'm going to take them to win
Okay.
at home over the Philadelphia Eagles.
Wow.
I know. And the third game, this was we talked a couple about these two teams, Seattle and Carolina. I'm not I've been a Bryce Young fan since his
Of
days
course.
at Alabama. I just don't see him at the upper echelon as a quarterback in this league. So I'm going to take your Seattle Seahawks to beat Carolina on the road. So it could be a reach, but I'm not a believer in Carolina.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
So, well, as always, Jim, I wish you the best of luck, and hopefully you can make some ground this weekend. There's possibility for me this weekend. You never know. With that, let's go on. I know you have a couple of baseball notes. If you want to make that quick and go ahead and do that real quick, and then we move on to our final segments.
Yeah, there was just a couple of things like, we're talking about these free agents, and there's not a lot. It's not a big pool. Like the Schwarbers are off the board and so forth. And I did mention that Bellinger needs to stay as a Yankee. I think he wants to be a Yankee. I don't know what's taking so long to get this done, but Aaron Judge has come out on record saying he wants Cody Bellinger. And Bellinger drove in 98, 99 runs, whatever it is. They have to sign him. And, like the A's are paying Tyler Soderstrom 7 years, $86 million. And, he's a young player, but he didn't sign this mega contract that, who was it, Tatis and all these other guys signed when they were relatively young, but he's an established player. And, considering the Oakland A's, or now it's going to be the
Oakland Raiders,
Vegas
the
A's
Oakland,
or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of things from a free agent signing in baseball. Like I said, there's not a lot going on until pitchers and catchers report. But I think he's better signed Cody Bellinger.
All right. With that, let's go to some random points sponsored by Lynch Toyota of Manchester, Connecticut.
Yep.
By the way, thanks for the hats and the stuff. I got the book in the back of the set and the hat behind the microphone. So I appreciate that. It's back there on display. Once the Christmas is gone, it'll be more present there. But yeah.
And just so people know, our loyal sponsor, Lynch Toyota, sent us some Christmas gifts of Lynch Toyota hats, which we had on the show. We showed last week. And the book about the 62 Mets called How the Worst Was Won. And it's a funny, comedic look at the 62 teams and Casey Stengel. Recommend it.
Of course. Brandon says, watch out for the Boston Red Sox this year.
Well, listen, they did go out. Yankees don't have a first baseman either. And they come in and they swoop in and get Will Contreras to play first base. Hey, the Boston Red Sox are trying to make amends for the past few years. So,
yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and start the random point segment off. Let's begin with this. The Raiders' Brock Bowers is out for the Sunday as he is placed on injured reserve. Steelers' DK Metcalf has been suspended for 2 games has 2 games suspension on his play following hitting a fan in the stands in last week's Lions game. He also loses $500,000 in salary for these 2 games that he misses. Pretty crazy.
When you're being harassed like that, you have to just turn the other cheek. You can't get involved with the fans, and he's paying the price for it.
And the Chiefs plan to move out of Arrowhead by 2031 and play football in the state of Kansas, not Missouri. What's this all about?
well,
besides money.
When you brought that up, because that was one of my random points as well. And we had to get some feedback from Tom Pugh, who moved to Kansas City. I don't know what kind of a commute that would be to the new stadium, but it's not in the state of Missouri. It's in the state of Kansas.
Which is crazy to think about. I mean, it's crazy. If you traveled to the Orlando airport before, you have seen the iconic Chili's and the escalator ride up. Well, the Orlando airport has announced that Chili's will be permanently closing on December 31st, leaving travelers, fans, and even celebrities like Barstool's Big Cat very angry and posting on social media. The airport did not announce its replacement just yet. So if you're in the airport area, you can give your respects to Chili's on the 31st.
Not a Chili's guy.
Really? All right. I'm a big Chili's guy. Disney became the first and only major studio to cross over $6 billion this year. This is the first time the Disney company has passed this mark, and the second place runner-up was Warner Brothers at $4.3 billion, thanks to all the movies and programs. Congrats to Texas A&M volleyball as they become the NCAA champions. They beat Kentucky 3-0, and it's the first volleyball win for the program, an NCAA title. And the last one I have is today's big question of the day. Who had Andrea Bocelli and Matteo Bocelli, Hunter X, and Lainey Wilson joining Snoop Dogg for the halftime show on their bingo card? Because I certainly did not see that coming. I did not see Andrea and Matteo joining Snoop Dogg at the halftime show on the Netflix Christmas Day halftime show. I didn't watch the game, but I saw the clips, and I did not have that on my bingo card. Let me tell you.
Well, I don't even know what Angelo or whatever Matteo
Andrea
is.
Bocelli, he sang the he's known for his iconic like songs. It's like almost like love songs, almost, as you will. He also sang the song "The Our Father," the extended version of the Our Father as well. You got to take a listen to it. It's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a good artist. All right, go ahead. Random points is you.
All right. Well, Eli, you took a couple of my random points away. I certainly wanted to mention the Kansas City building a new stadium, and that opens for the 2031 season.
Yes.
In Kansas City, Kansas. And I did wanted to bring up, because we talked about Texas A&M volleyball upsetting Nebraska and breaking their home record, and they did indeed win their first women's volleyball championship. That was big for them.
That's crazy.
We saw a couple of crazy things, like with Georgetown and Ed Cooley throwing a water bottle, hit a little kid. I mean, you got to show some restraint when you're on this kind of stage. Come on, you got to be kidding, right?
Yep.
And Cooper Flagg, Eli, the youngest with 20 points and 90% shooting in NBA history. This guy is really developing into. He's going to be a
star.
super player and a star in the NBA.
They need it. Let me tell you. I mean, some of these guys are going to be retiring soon. Who's the next, up? He's going to be the one that gets people to watch a regular season basketball game. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Mark
and
my words on that one.
And, and if it wasn't for that trade, you would have him and Doncic, which could have been a core for those Mavericks.
They would be number one in the NBA right now.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. Instead, they're stuck with a broken down Anthony Davis. But
well, we know how that goes.
It gives Cooper Flagg a platform to shine and show people that he's going to be a superstar for sure.
All right.
That's it, Eli.
Well, let's go now to the What's Your Recommendation and the photo segment, sponsored by Vital Selection. Scan the QR code to learn more.
Okay, Eli. I actually have a. So if are you a Larry David fan? Curb Your Enthusiasm fan?
A little bit, yeah.
You either are or you're not, because I think it's great. But I actually watched a movie he made in 2013 with a lot of recognizable movie people, John Hamm and Kate Hudson. But the movie Clear History, it's a movie, but it's like an extended episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. If you like Larry David, you'll love this movie. It's awesome. I think it's very, very fun. Wow. That's my recommendation.
Well, of course, it's New Year's. So what are the shows to watch on New Year's? Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest on ABC from 8 p.m. to 4 in the morning. That's crazy in itself right there.
I'll be long gone by then. Yeah.
New Year's Eve Live, Nashville's Big Bash, 8 to 1 in the morning on CBS. Toast to 2025 and Fireworks Around the World on NBC starting at 10:30. And New Year's Eve Live with Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen is on CNN at 8 o'clock. And, of course, the next day you can watch the Rose Parade on all channels at 11 o'clock. But, yeah.
Well, the New Year's tradition for me is watching the Honeymooners Marathon.
Yeah, I know.
But there's also, just keep in mind, there's also a Twilight Zone Marathon. And
that's right.
I don't know if you've watched that, but it's great. It was brilliant. It was ahead of its time. I love that show. That's a recommendation too.
Let's go ahead and take a look at some photos.
All right, Eli. It was Christmas time, and there's my 3 grandchildren with their grandfather, and I had a wonderful day with them. Awesome. Look how cute they are. Oh, by the way, if you went back to that picture, you could see my youngest grandson he got a Steph Curry jersey for Christmas.
Ah, and what did Uncle Jim get?
Oh, I got nice things. They gave me nice
Okay.
things.
Okay, good.
And look, this is New Jersey right now. We got slammed with a storm last
Yeah.
night.
Thanks.
Already
That was
shoveled the
great.
driveway, but this is the Northeast, and I think we're going to get hammered all winter.
Yeah, I think we have another storm tomorrow. They said.
Oh, great.
Yeah, great. Yeah, all right. We do have some notable passings to report. I'll
Go ahead, Eli.
I'll start it off. Yeah. Big Brother star Mickey Lee has passed away at the age of 35. Theme park Disney and travel YouTube vlogger Adam DeWoo has passed away unexpectedly. He was born in 1974. He was 51 years old. He had over 1 million subscribers on YouTube and was a big person in the community on YouTube.
Okay.
James Ransone, best known for his role in HBO's The Wire, has passed away at the age of 46.
Yeah, he played the character Ziggy in that movie, which I mean, in that series, which was great, by the way. Actually,
Chris Rea, known for his Christmas hit Driving Home for Christmas, has passed away at the age of 74. Character actress Helen Stiff has passed away at the age of 88. Vin Zambella, one of the creators behind the video game Call of Duty, has passed away at the age of 55. And finally, actor and comedian Patrick Finn has passed away. He was born in 1965, was 6 years old, and was best known in the ABC's The Middle, who played the character Bill Norwood, who was the neighbor in the show. And he was also appeared in Friends a couple of times. He was a pretty big character in the TV world. A minor character, but yeah.
okay.
But that's what I have. Anything else I missed?
Well, there's just one other one I missed. I know you're not from this era, but The Cure was a great band, English band, and Perry Bamonte, who was one of the lead guitar players, they had a hit called Friday I'm in Love. It's an underrated band in my book for many years, and he was 65 years old. Yep.
All right. Well, we had a really great show, and first off, we want to say thank you for a great 2025. We had an unbelievable year, incredible amount of new subscribers, incredible amount of new views. The call-in feature is the newest thing to our channel. We have the new studio platform, which is awesome. And I thought we had a great 2025, and it's all thanks to the fans who are watching at home for commenting every week. Thank you. We wish you a happy new year, and we will see you all in 2026 for our next show.
Yeah, I will echo that Happy New Year sentiment. And, it's been a pleasure you and I being partners on this little endeavor of ours. And I'm getting some great feedback about you and the content of the show. So, like I said, our show goes as our listeners go. So thank you. And we wish everybody a Happy New Year. And I did want to give a shout out to one of my dear friends, Tom Shanley, who's 82 years old, but he had some significant health issue last week, and I'm happy to report he's on the road to recovery. So thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's just a wonderful man to me. But I do, Eli, again, thank you. And I'm wearing my Kentucky Wildcat jersey because my nephew went there. That's my daughter's son, and my niece. She goes to Ole Miss, so my sister's going to kill me for going against Ole Miss here, but business is business.
Business is business, yeah.
All right, Eli, you guys have a great show.
Take care.
We will see everybody next week.
Time to be determined.
Yeah, keep an eye out. We're figuring out exactly what time we're going to do the show, but this is the last time we'll catch up in 2025, and looking forward to a great year with you, Eli.